hello, hello, and welcome to my kitchen. It is, well, it's close to midnight here until I change my clock. I'm going to change my clock back. So then it's really only almost 11. We can pretend. So it is time to change our clocks. Well, I'm going to make some chili because it is a little cooler here. No, it's not that cool, but it's a little cooler. And it's so exciting. So it's going to be in the 50s tonight and tomorrow, as long as that hasn't changed. It was projected to be in the 50s. So I am going to turn on my pan. I have my new little ring light that I'm trying to adapt to use. I'm putting a little oil in that pan. That's coconut oil. I'm trying to, it's very tipsy, which is not a whole lot different than the one I had before. I thought it would be, it's so top heavy. And I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. Right now, we're just, like, I want to, like, glue it down to something, nail it down to something. I don't know. I need to do something. So, what I'm going to start off with is we're going to put in the hamburger. This is ground chuck. Now, I'm cutting this recipe in half, so just do double if you want a really, really big pot of chili. But I'm just feeding 3 people, so this is half the amount of chili. So I am going to put in a pound of ground chuck. I always use ground chuck whenever you say ground beef or hamburger. It's always ground chuck. I use it for everything because it's 80% lean. That's if yours isn't called ground chuck, it's 80% lean. So I'm going to put this in here, turn it up a little bit. And this is a little over a pound, and so I'm going to I'll increase the liquid a little bit. Oh, let me see here. I don't think this is what I do first. What do I do? Oh, yes, I do. You cook the hamburger first, and then you... Yes, you do the hamburger first by itself. I'm trying to remember how to do this. There we go. So you cook the hamburger by itself, and then you are going to take the hamburger out of the pan. And put the other stuff in. It's so long since I've ate chili. If I haven't eaten it for a year. Okay, so I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to take this nifty little chopper and chop it all up. This is like on medium-high right now because the hamburger's cold. So while this is cooking, you just want to cook it till it's done, no longer pink. So while this is cooking, I'm going to chop an onion. And for this recipe, as half of the recipe, I'm going to do half an onion. And I always use like the Vidalia onion or the sweet onion. You use whatever kind you want. Just like those. See how it quickly cools the pan down? It doesn't even sound like it's sizzling anymore. Let's get it all nice and chopped in here really well. Here we go. I'm going to cover that, let that simmer, and we're going to move right over here to our little cutting board. And I'm going to turn on my little vent here and do our onion. So I have a fresh onion I bought here. This is a tiny cutting board. I do have a bigger one, but it's got stuff on it. I really do have a big one. I just like the little one. It doesn't take up that much room. I have found that if you cut onions with your vent on, it keeps you from crying because it takes all the fumes away. I've also heard if you put a wet towel, let's try that too. A wet towel next to it, it somehow absorbs the scent or something. I don't get that. Okay, so we're going to take a paper towel, wet paper towel. I guess a paper towel works too. Let's try. We're going to just set it there. Have you heard that? And a wet paper towel nearby absorbs the fumes. I don't know. Okay, I just know the overhead vent does. So I'm going to take another bag here. Put the scraps in. I'm actually going to cut this onion in half. There we go. I'm going to use that half, but I'm also going to go ahead and peel the rest of this one, because if I don't, I've noticed the peeling of these onions has been like contaminating the onion after a while. It's like rotting or something, or at least like mildews. I heard something. What is that? That was kind of spooky. Sounded like it was upstairs. Let's just hope that's the guy upstairs. Like, what is thumping? That was weird. It's interesting because I heard thumping earlier tonight too, and my cats heard it, and they kind of were like looking around, like they were scared. Like, what is it? I'm like, don't look at me. I don't know what it is either. Thumping upstairs. Okay, so I'm gonna put that onion away. Then we're gonna peel this one. Then we're gonna chop it up. And we've got our hamburger sizzling. I'm going to stir it in a minute. But yeah, see with the vent on, this onion does not bother me at all. Doesn't make me cry. Not anything. Doesn't do anything. So nice. Of course, if you have a really, really strong onion, these are not that strong. If you have a really super strong one, it might be worse. But Vidalia sweet onions are good. Alright, this part right here is a dry part right there. Let's peel that off too. If I can get it to. It doesn't want to. Come on. There we go. That part right there was just dried. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of that. Let me open up my sizzle in here. I'm going to. I don't know if you can even see that now. We're going to stir it up. This one is making an incredible amount of grease. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to chop all this up. That's okay. We're going to drain it when we're done here. And just kind of chop the little bits of meat a little smaller that didn't get chopped very well. You can add salt and pepper to that at that stage if you want to. I usually do it later. Hi Karen, how are you doing again? Welcome, welcome. So we're making some chili. Because it is chilly outside. A little bit. Not much. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to just chop like this. So I'm going to use half the onion since I'm making half the recipe. This is a pretty big onion. Sweet Vidalia onions are pretty big. And let's chop it this way. Whoops, that always happens to me. Let's turn it this way so we have more space. It's because this, I love this little tiny cutting board, but it's really not big enough. I need a medium one. Okay, here we go. Let's chop these in little pieces. You can chop it whatever size you want. Whoops, I just dropped more on the floor. Let's get that. I did pretty good. Got most of it on there. Let's throw those away. Okay. Now, so I cut it in some more smaller pieces. So by the time we get done here, our hamburger should be pretty well done. Now this is my grandfather's recipe. I'm going to take it away from that burn. It's falling into cracks. My grandfather made this. My mother's father, he and my grandmother owned a little diner when I was, well, before I was born, and then after I was born they still had it. And they called it the root beer stand. They basically served hamburgers and homemade chili and grilled cheese and ice cream. I think they'd also cook eggs. They kind of just had a griddle in the back. Okay, we're almost there. Just chopping this up smaller. I just dropped some more. I need to put this in a bowl. I'm just running out of room. Get some of it out of the way. There we go. Now I have a little bit more room. It's not helping though. I'm still getting it going everywhere. Chop that. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to kind of stir it and it's going to kind of hurt, and you know, it just ends up tasting like chili. I love cooked onion. I don't like raw onion at all. I love cooked onion though. Oh, onion's supposed to be really good for you. My mother loves onion. She likes it raw or cooked. I don't know how she likes it raw, but she does. Okay. Pretty good here. Alright, so I'm just going to put it all in the bowl. Then we'll just dump it in the pan, but I'm going to take it, I'm going to drain. Now what my grandfather used to do, and my mother did too, she kept this recipe. And I've modified it a little bit here and there. So the first thing I do is I don't use the grease from the hamburger, because that is bad for you, grease. So I take off that grease. It's hard to find like what oil is good for you. It changes all the time. Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Karen. You got a new picture of the baby. Oh, good. I want to see. I want to see the new picture. Oh, I can't wait till you get it. I bet you're so excited. Okay, so let me turn the heat down. Let me check my pan. We look real nice and done here. Okay. I'm just going to turn it down the low. I'm going to get my strainer. Where are you, strainer? He's hiding. Hold on. Here's a little one. Huh. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to strain it into this bowl, and then I'm going to pour it into a can. So I have something. Don't pour my oil down the drain. Okay, so I'm going to drain this fat off, because it is not good. Clogs the arteries. And so then, I have heard that you can do avocado oil, coconut oil. Don't really, you know, they change it every other day. This one's good, now this one's not good. Now this one is good, then this one's not good. I don't know. So, I'm going to go ahead and take off the oil that's on there. There's a little bit of hamburger left in there. It's okay. Oh, yes, send it to me. Good. Yay! Okay, so let me put in a little more oil. If you want to do it in the grease that's, you know, from the hamburger, you can. It's just I know that's not as good for you. But you do need some oil in the pan, so that's coconut oil. Then you're going to put in your spices. Now remember, this is half of the recipe that I'm making. So I'm going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of paprika in the grease. If you need more, so you can do more. Paprika. So 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons for this amount. Oh, I gotta turn this heat back up. Hold on. You're gonna kind of cook the spices in the oil, and if it gets dry, I'm gonna put more oil. Hi, Carla. Good afternoon. It is, well, it's midnight here, but I gotta turn my clock back, so technically I think makes it 11 p.m. It's going to be 11 p.m. If I change the clock back, okay, here's paprika. Now, if it's not enough oil, I'll add more. I don't usually measure, because, you know, it's kind of whatever. It's just enough to moisten the spices. So I'm going to put that in there. Stir it around a little. Uh-oh, I just sloshed that up the side of my stove. Yeah, that was cute. Let me get that. Okay, that's kind of messy. I'm smearing it around. Don't know that that's helping at all. Okay, so there's the paprika. Then I'm also going to add, let me see where we're at here. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of chili powder. It's just after 3. Okay. Tablespoon of chili powder. This is the chili powder. Ooh, look, that fits down in there. How about that? I didn't think it would fit, but I tried it anyway. There you go. This is your basic red chili. This is a pretty old recipe because my grandfather had it before I was born. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. I'm going to turn that down a little bit because it's starting to get too hot. Stir that in. Then we're going to have some cumin. This is cumin. And this is what really makes it have the chili taste. So we're going to add like a teaspoon of cumin. We're at half the recipe size. Okay, teaspoon of cumin. This is just a nice warm spice flavor. But you can see what that looks like if you haven't seen it before. There you go. I'm trying to make it work with where I have the phone right now. Trying to make it work. Okay, so now we're going to stir that in. Then we're going to add the onions. I did turn it down. Okay, here's half an onion. That's a sweet Vidalia onion. You can use any kind of onion that you want. I just use the sweet ones for everything. I like the sweet ones. Okay, let me get my fork here. I think it needs a little more oil. It's a little dry, so let's add a little bit more. That's coconut oil. Try to use a good oil. Whatever they say is a good oil changes every other day. So, what the good oil of the good oil du jour, oil of the day, whatever they say is good now. Okay, so there we go. I'm cooking the onion in there. Still not going to be enough. Almost. Don't want it dry, or just going to start sticking. Okay, then you're going to saute the onions. Now, I also add in some salt and pepper, and then my mother used to add in some really hot little peppers that she would chop up. They grew in the yard. I don't even know what they were, but I don't have any peppers growing here in the yard. At the apartment, I can't do that. So I'm going to add some salt. A lot of people don't add, the recipe doesn't tell you to add salt. But I always think it needs salt. So I'm going to add like half a teaspoon of salt. I'm always wishing it had a little salt in it, so. Half a teaspoon to that. Then I'm going to add this. Now you can add, this is not in the recipe to add pepper, but I'm going to add this one called Hot Shot. So that's actually black pepper and cayenne red pepper mixed. Okay, I'm having the hardest time focusing this. There you go. So it's a little spicy as well. So I don't know how much to add of that in. Let's try half a teaspoon of that. I've not actually put that in it before, but I want it a little spicier. So here we go. Then we're going to cook that together. Now got it kind of on medium, a little bit higher than medium. Just saute the onions. And then you get this. And the other thing, since I don't have any, like I said, those little hot peppers to add, I'm going to add these little green chilies. These are mild. They have mild and hot, but I didn't get the hot because I don't know that my dad, mom, you know, they're older. I don't want to kill them. Little hot stuff. So, or upset their digestive systems terribly, you know. So I'm trying to be a little frugal with the pepper. So these are mild, even though I put some spicy stuff in there. I know how spicy that is. I didn't know how spicy the hot chilies would be, because I don't think I've ever used them. So let's put the mild. And you can put that whole can. I put half the can to start. Let's see what it looks like. Somehow I got that's a piece of dry looking onion right there. Let me get that out. I think that was a piece that wasn't very moist. That, let me look at it. That doesn't look like a lot of chilies. We'll just add them all in there. They're mild, they won't hurt anything. Okay. Okay, that's a weird green stick in there. Something from the pepper, I guess. Okay, there's that. So those are ready. So now we're gonna add, because I don't think it matters what order we do it in from here. So I'm gonna put the meat back in. This is the cooked ground beef. This is actually ground chuck, which is 80% lean. That's a little more than a pound, because you know it's hard to get the package that has exactly a pound. At least it is here. They kind of just throw some in there. Just a little over, but that's okay. I'll just add more liquid. So there we go. It smells so good. And I love to make stuff like chili or stew. I love to make it the night before because it tastes better the next day, as it absorbs the flavors better. Okay, so then we're going to add, for half the recipe, I need I need a can and a half of pinto beans. I don't have a can and a half. So since it has a little extra meat, I'm going to add 2 cans of pinto beans. These are just like the plain pinto beans. So I'm going to, let's see what they look like. Oh, I'm going to strain them. Oh, I'm sloshing it everywhere. You don't want the liquid. You just want the beans. Let me get this bowl of grease that I got. Put it somewhere. No room. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to pour in the pinto beans. Rinse those off a little. So there's 1 can. And we're going to do the other. Then I'm going to pour that grease in one of these pans. So I have somewhere to put it. From cooking the hamburger, that's the grease I'm talking about. Okay, poured that off. Okay, so then we're going to get the other can of beans. Also put that in a strainer. This bowl is in my way. There. Don't have any place to put it. Okay, so there's all our pinto beans. So let's put that in the pan. Okay. Then I'm going to stir this up. I'm hurting my finger. Oh, my finger is not wanting to work. Okay. Then you want half a can of, like, my mom used to use crushed tomatoes, but I actually like, she would take them and put them in a food processor and puree them, because they didn't like chunks of tomatoes in it. And I'm like, well, Mom, they make pureed tomatoes. So I have pureed tomatoes. I'll only need half a can of this. The only thing is I never can find the pureed tomatoes in a small can. They're always in a big can. Oh, can't get a hold of that. So, pureed tomatoes. And that's going to be a little over half because I have a little extra ingredients in there. It's almost kind of like tomato sauce. There's some that actually say pureed tomatoes on them. Then, it says, the recipe says you can add water if needed. Well, trust me, you're going to need it. This is not going to be liquidy enough, but this is another tweak that I've made to it. I've added water to it all the time, but you know, I found one day I added beef broth. It's a whole lot better. So add beef broth, and the other thing I like to do, like, see how thick it is? That is way, you need some liquid. So the other thing I like to do is thicken it up a little bit, because once I add the broth, it's real runny. So I'm going to take some of the beef broth and put it in this little measuring cup. are you warming in your warmer? What are you talking? Oh, you're talking about this over here? The warmer, the Scentsy one? That is, I think it's Sugar Plum. If that's what you're talking about. It's not even on. Here, I'll turn it on. It's real pretty. There he is. If that's what, is that what you're talking about? What I have at work right now, because I have some others at work, I have, oh, it's like Johnny Appleseed or something, some kind of apple something. Oh, that one smells good. And I also like the cedar something. It smells like fall. My favorite is Sugar Plum. Because it just smells like plums. It's fruity. Okay, so we're letting that sit there. So let's get my beef broth. So I'm going to pour some beef broth. Well, first of all, I'm going to pour some in here. Into the, let's go ahead and put some in there. But I'm going to pour some in here. It doesn't matter how much. So like, you know, half the thing here. Because I'm just going to add some flour to thicken it up. Because I like it thicker. So we're going to add a couple tablespoons of flour. Stir some of that into the broth and then pour that in. Let's see how we're doing here. Because I do like a lot of liquid in it, but then I don't like it runny. So we just thicken up the liquid. But I made this with the beef broth the one time instead of adding water. My mom's like, oh, that's the best chili I've ever had. And I'm like, I think it's the beef broth. So much more flavor. Okay, so let's take our little itty bitty whisk, isn't cute, and let's stir this up. I find this does the best job of getting rid of the lumps. Because I can really whip it through here. If you're concerned about lumps, you can always pour it through a strainer. Okay, there we go. And pour it in. Then you will have thicker chili. If you like a super, super runny, you don't have to put that in. I'm trying to remember how much I put in last time. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so let's turn this on hotter until it boils. I actually want more liquid than this. And then once it, you know, comes to a boil, you can simmer it for like 10 minutes or something, but really you don't need to do a whole lot. And the key is just letting it sit overnight. And a lot of times after it sits overnight, it thickens up more, and then I'll add more broth, like tomorrow. Sugar Plum, you've got vanilla buttercream in yours today. Oh, I love the smell of vanilla. I don't like the ones that have too much of the, like, that smell like cookies and stuff, because some reason, I don't know, some reason my sinuses don't like it. But the vanilla and the fruity ones, the ones that smell like baked goods, for some reason, I don't do well with those. But I like the fruity ones and the floral ones. But, oh, yeah, mine, the ones I have at work, people love to come in my office. They're like, oh, your office smells so good. Okay, let's taste this and see what it tastes like. Let us see. Let's hope it's not horrible. That's gonna be good. Just needs to absorb the taste. You know, absorb all those flavors. Yep, that's actually salty and not good. Yum. Okay. So on the lid. Bring it to a boil. Let it simmer. Put it in the refrigerator overnight. It'll be so much better tomorrow. And tomorrow morning, it will be, it'll be different tomorrow. So let's see, what will it be? If I'm doing this at 10 or 11, say if I do it at 10 in the morning, I think it's going to be like 2 in the morning your time. because it's gonna change. Ugh, it's gonna get worse. Okay, so there we are, and then I'll do my makeup after that. But I guess you can watch the replay, but it's so much more fun when you're here live, but I can't expect you to stay up until after midnight every time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you for watching, and if you watch my other makeup live that I did earlier, my little cat Godiva was having all the fun in the beginning. Oh yeah, you check the replays. I watch replays of stuff too. So my other video, I noticed also, I went back, the timing of it is horribly off. Like, I mean really off. I don't know why on earth that happened. But it's like you hear me talk and then like 30 seconds later my mouth moves. I'm like, whoa. And it stayed off the whole video. So I don't know why on earth it was off like that. Sometimes Facebook does that. But yeah, it's hilarious. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that was happening. It's not like I could fix it anyway. At least this one, if my talking is off with my mouth moving, well, you would never know. So I hope this one's better. All right, so I will see you next time. Have a good day. And thank you for watching. Bye.